Chapter 3, Proclamation on the Frontier, page 12. Although the French and Indian War was almost entirely fought in northern colonies and Canada, a fort in Tennessee played a small role. In the early 1750s, the Cherokee Indians living in present-day southeast Tennessee were on friendly terms with the British. Things were going so well that the Cherokee allowed the colonial government of South Carolina to build a fort near the Little Tennessee River known as Fort Loudon. The fort was built so the British would have a good place to trade with the Cherokee Indians. For about 2 years, several hundred British soldiers and their families lived at Fort Loudon at peace with the Cherokee. It was for a short time one of the remote outposts of the British Empire. Page 13. However, relations between the British and the Cherokee got worse. After several Cherokee were murdered by British troops in South Carolina in 1760, the Cherokee surrounded Fort Loudon and told the soldiers to leave. The British soldiers and their families were killed as they tried to cross the mountains. It was one of many awful events of the French and Indian War. After the war, a British officer named Henry Timberlake visited several Cherokee villages on a peace mission. He visited the site of Fort Loudon, which was in ruins by that time. One of the Cherokee chiefs, Chief Ostinaco, asked Timberlake if he would take him to England. Timberlake took Ostinaco and 2 other chiefs across the ocean. Turn the page. Page 14. In London, those 3 chiefs had a friendly meeting with King George III. The chiefs asked the king if he could stop the migration of his colonists across the mountains. Of course, the Cherokee wasn't the only American Indian tribe that lived west of the American colonies. In 1763, tribes in the Great Lakes region fought settlers in an event known today as the Platonic Rebellion. In that event, hundreds of colonists and thousands of American Indians were killed or captured. Having gone through the experience of the Patonic's Rebellion, the king agreed with the Cherokee chiefs. George III understood that wherever his colonists lived, the British Army would have to defend them. King George III issued a proclamation which ordered all settlers to remain east of the Appalachian Mountains. This order was known as the Proclamation of 1763.